so funny.
History in the making.
Everybody's so funny.
Welcome home, Columbia. Beautiful, beautiful.
Talking shit, Dave.
And welcome back to another episode of Underdog Podcast. It's been a little minute since I did one. That's always my intro. But we're going to hop right into this shit because tomorrow, August 22nd, BRICS. That's what it's about. BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. A coalition similar to that of the G7, or possibly more related to G7. You can maybe say NATO as well, but what it comes down to is this. The part of the world got annoyed with one simple thing, the dollar. They got annoyed with America and its allies using those economic sanctions, which are, let's be honest, they're an act of war. They're definitely an act of war, which people don't want to really admit, right? When you are messing with a country, even if it is a government, you're messing with the citizens of that country, the population, you're putting sanctions on them that will affect their import and export, that affect their economy. Why? Because you don't like what they did? I mean, America does fucked up shit all the time. Anybody really stopping them? No, didn't think so. So what we got going on with the BRICS, which really would be BRICS Plus, because you got over almost 20 different countries, Saudi Arabia, is it Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Algiers, I think Niger, all these different countries, Singapore, maybe some Indonesia. Anyways, look it up. You got all these different countries that are just like trying to get on this BRICS bandwagon. And let's be honest, I don't blame them. I would. Real shit. I'm looking like, you know what? I need to get a dual citizenship. I got my passport. Maybe I set up a dual citizenship, get a visa, find a way to get another place in another country. I mean, I'd really rather be a sovereign being, right? Where I don't have to worry about any citizenship or anything. I can just move around the world without, being tied to anybody. But we'll find a way to get there. This whole BRICS thing is something that's going to shake up the whole global infrastructure. And most Americans, of course, they don't know about this because it's not spoken on the mainstream media. But I get my news from TikTok and Twitter, and it's been more fucking reliable than any mainstream media news outlet my entire fucking life. So you got all these things going on, and it's happening tomorrow. And then even if you hear the mainstream media talk about it, they'll downplay it. They'll say things like, oh, well, it's not, this is coming about and stuff, but, they're still years away. No, this has been decades in the making. You can easily say within the past 6-7 years, because ever since I've been following XRP, this goes back to 2018, and XRP will tie heavily into this podcast. But ever since I was researching XRP 2018, rather, for me, all I've been hearing about is BRICS. BIS, Bank of International Settlements, or Bank for International Settlements, however it goes, they, along with Ripple, XRP Ledger, and a whole bunch of other companies, Consistence is one of them as well, got together and helped the BRICS create their own financial infrastructure, because it's about the payment systems. How do you settle? How are you going to settle your payments, cross-border transactions, cross-border settlements, cross-border payments? How are you going to do that if you're not using the dollar, which is the world reserve currency? And by world reserve currency, it means settling doing those settlements, because the BRICS have it set up in the manner in which they're all going to have their own central bank digital currencies. They're all going to have their own currency, and whether it'll be a private bank are a centralized bank in their country, but it will be somewhat, in a sense, it will be backed by gold, that they'll use a digital token, some type of digital payment that's will be their settlement instrument. I speculate, and a lot of people as well speculate, that it will be on the XRP ledger. Now, the XRP itself, you can't necessarily say it's a bridge currency or stuff like that, but you still can, because it just depends on your perspective and how you see it. Because really, the XRP is just a token that allows transactions to be settled, or to be transactions to take place on the XRP ledger, and then, which is a blockchain, but you have different nodes on the ledger. Now you have your distributed ledger technology, nodes, servers, whatever. So you have all this going on, a decentralized yet somewhat centralized mechanism of accounting. Because when we're talking about the digital age, all we're doing is talking about trying to keep track, have accounting of all the transactions and what's going on. Transparency. Something that, let's be honest, the United States government is not about. It's not about transparency. You know, I gotta say, it's entertainment purposes only, because this is not misinformation. I'm tired of getting my fucking videos or taken down on TikTok and other social media platforms, and they're saying, oh, you can't be saying that. But that's a whole, I'm not even gonna go into it. That's a whole nother thing. What it essentially comes down to is this, man. The world as you know it is changing. America, rise, gone. That's a thing of the past. I actually have this website pulled up, BRICS-pay.com. I'm not sure if it's completely let me get situated more. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's completely tied to the BRICS as an official thing, but let me scroll down here. It looks like it. BRICS, yeah, it is, because it's part of the BRICS Business Council 2023. I see the copyright down at the bottom of the website. And anytime you have any issues trying to figure out what the website that you're looking at as you're trying to research and stuff, scroll down, see if there are any copyright laws, anything like that. That's anything that shows some type of official registration. It's something that shows that, hey, we are who we are, and we're not some type of scam or fake website, just making up stuff or saying things. So as I look on this and I see what it says, and I sit here and I think, 3 billion people. The BRICS conglomerate, what do you want to call it? As of right now, with just those 5 countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and the BRICS Summit will be in South Africa tomorrow on the 22nd. But they cover 3 billion people, 42% of the world's population. And I'm reading it off the BRICS-pay.com website, which has to be just for the American. This has to be for America. Like, I'm pretty sure .com is usually cover America website, so .commercial. 40 million square kilometers, 30% land area of the world. We're talking about the fucking resources. Your oil, lithium, precious metal, gold, silver, platinum, palladium, copper, bronze. Like, people have no clue, man. Saudi Arabia is looking to join the BRICS as well. That's it. That's it for the dollar. It's the petrodollar for a reason. Look up Kissinger. Look up why we went into the Middle East, making agreements saying, hey, we'll protect your oil fields and stuff like that. You give us the oil, blah, blah. All these countries have been building up gold these past few years as the dollar has been tanking. And we can debate and go back and forth whether hyperinflation is here or not. I'm going to say yes, because I like, come on, man. Eggs, gallon of milk, $5. Like what point do we say, oh yeah, hyperinflation is here, or at what point do we say, oh yeah, this is super high inflation, this is too much and stuff? Because my lifetime, everything has been continuously going up and up and up and costing way fucking more. A dollar for a gallon of tank of gas before I started driving in 2005. I think like 2000, 2001, something like that. Middle East wars, Afghanistan, Iraq wars, stuff like that shit happened. 2005, when I really started driving my senior year of high school, gas is $1.25. Now what we won't do for $1.25 gas, like this is going on, man. You think the rest of the world gonna sit back and have their economic futures tied to the D-dollar, to the crushing of the dollar? That's why they have the de-dollarization plan. Look up Project Sandman. Like, they are intentionally doing this. And you don't think the people behind the scenes that pull the strings, you don't think that they're playing both sides? That's a smart play. Of course they are. Because change is inevitable. Change is constant. Change will always happen. You have to have the foresight to see it before it transpires. You cannot think in terms of hindsight, or you cannot be like, oh, this is years away. No, the future is tomorrow, literally. And even if they come out tomorrow and they say, oh, well, we're going to do this, and the Western media is going to completely downplay the shit, but it should not be downplayed, because they've been saying what they're going to do. They're saying they're going to move away from the dollar. You better get on Twitter and look at some of those presidents and stuff like that in the African countries. They're so fed up with America. They're fed up with they're going to call it a gay agenda, bro. It is what it is, man. As we try to figure out if our men are women and vice versa, they're trying to figure out how to build better cities. We're talking about AI taking over and shit. Well, guess what? They have their children over in China trying to figure out AI at a young age, right? They're having jobs and things that make more fucking sense. Meanwhile, over here in America, we're just playing around with our, thumbs up our asshole, just who knows, trying to find shit, literally, because this makes no fucking sense. It makes no fucking sense. And the fact that this has been going on and we are continuously distracted. Granted, I mean, the fucking wildfires, unnatural wildfires, fucking misinformation. That shit is unnatural. So the unnatural wildfires and the devastation that's going on, if you haven't noticed, in Western countries, in the sense of, your NATO countries, America, America, Canada, the things that have been going on and stuff, right? Whether it's from the own U.S. government or someone else, there's a lot of shit that's going on and it's distracting us, and people are already in fear and frantic, and now they want to ramp up a whole new virus. Meanwhile, the BRICS country are like, man, fuck all that. We're not dealing with this. We're not dealing with these people. We're not dealing with this type of infrastructure that they got going on. So the main issue that I have with all this is that it's right in front of our face. This was always going to happen. There's no way that the rest of the world is going to sit back and watch the United States and its allies continue to do destruction and kind of basically hold the rest of the planet hostage. With far as technology, when it comes to, you see that they just talked about I know I did it on the podcast too, talking about the aliens and stuff like that. The rest of the world, the governments around the world, their leaders, I don't want to call them their leaders, but those people in the position who have access or who know of that information, hell, probably the population too, the regular populace already knew that the U.S. government knew about aliens, right? Canadian Defense Prime Minister or something like that said a long time ago. Mexican president said a long time ago. Israeli defense leader or whatever said it a long time ago too. So They already knew. So they're like, hey, America, y'all got this technology. Y'all gonna share with the world. What y'all gonna do? Oh, you're gonna make these weapons and stuff. You're gonna keep it to yourself. All right, fuck y'all. We're gonna do our own fucking thing. I think Russia just had a satellite, unmanned satellite, or unmanned spaceship rather, go up into the moon. Now, the Western media is reporting that it just crashed, but who knows? Who knows? Because in America, they have trained us and conditioned us to be like, oh, Russia is bad, the Soviets bad and stuff like that. The Cold War, and China technology, it's not that good. They steal their technology from everybody else. Doesn't matter. At some point in time, the pendulum swings, right? You gotta be prepared to embrace what's coming next. And I don't blame it. I don't blame them. I'm all for it, to be honest with you, because change is inevitable and change is good. It's good. A couple more stats. 24 trillion US dollars, 26% GDP of the world is on the BRICS. 3 trillion US dollars, 20% exports and imports. Like people do not grasp how important this is, and this is their first face-to-face meeting, and it's been since COVID rather, and it's been I want to say speculated, but it's been reported that they have a new payment infrastructure in which they're going to implement. Like I said, they've been working with BIS, Bank International, or Bank for International Settlements, which ties to Ripple, which ties to XRP Ledger, Consensus, all the other different companies, rather blockchain, Web3 companies. We're going to AI cloud solutions, Amazon Web Services. You're not gonna have to worry about computing power or computer processing power because we're gonna be running cloud services. There's so much that's gonna change. Have you seen some of those cities in fucking China? I get it, social credit score, and they're tracking everybody and stuff like that. But I mean, you telling me I can't sit back and just be like, hey, I mean, God, it's pretty cool that he got that though. I mean, it's pretty cool that he got it. I'm not for it, obviously, but it's pretty cool that he got it. And people are always concerned about technology and thinking, oh, the central bank digital currency is going to destroy us. As if the dollar hasn't already done that shit. As if the Federal Reserve hasn't already done that. I feel more comfortable with a finite, currency or something that we're going to operate on, as opposed to the bullshit that we got going on, the infinite amount of printing that they're going to do. It's out the ass inflation, bro. They are printing shit backed by nothing. Backed by nothing. I bring it up often on my podcast, but I had a conversation when I did a project and I was talking about how the dollar isn't real. And my college professor, she was like, oh, no, it can't. It has to be backed by something. I was like, no, it's not. Look it up. I was talking about resource-based economy. But I was doing a slideshow presentation. And she was like, oh, no. It has to be backed by something. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not backed by anything. I assume, I know the United States government has gold somewhere. I assume. But we know what happens when you assume. Because at this point, China's been buying up gold. Russia's been buying up gold. So they've been collecting resources. Putin has been going down into the African countries, right? And making deals with them. Partnerships. You think motherfucking Joe Biden in the White House is doing that shit? You think Kamala Harris is doing that shit? Come on, man. Puppets. I mean, we know they're puppets. And you think what? We're going to get Trump back in the office and stuff, and he's going to do, fuck that. Fuck all this shit. Whatever the U.S. government got going on, it's dead. It's dead. It's a fucking show. We might as well disband the United States or United States for America. We might as well disband that shit. And every state just branch off and figure out who they can fucking work with over in the BRICS nations. That's actually a pretty good idea now I think about it. Because at this point, what is it? The survival kicks in, man. Self-preservation. There we go. Self-preservation is a real fucking thing. And when it's time to save your fucking ass, right, you will do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Right? I even question my own, morality as far as the sense of I try to make sure that I make money in a way in which I deem I keep my integrity and I stay true to who I am. But I invest in XRP. That goes along with CBDCs. We know what that goes into. Now, not necessarily that it's all tied directly to it, but it's an indirect thing. But still, I have to wrap my head around that. Because at the end of the day, me making money, well, it's going to affect someone else will have a negative, I want to say effect, have a negative reaction in a sense. Not by my own doing, but self-preservation. I'm just trying to survive. I'm trying to actually thrive. I'm tired of just trying to survive. I'm trying to thrive. I'm trying to have my house paid off. I'm trying to have a new fucking car. Cause my shit is fucking broken all the time and I have no money to buy a new one or get replaced because of this economy. The amount of money I make now, that 40 to 60,000 a year range and stuff that I'm in fluctuates, that I've been in for years, was fine, but not anymore. And that's for a lot of Americans. That's for a lot of people around the world. Granted, I am a single parent of two in a only one income household. And now I do social media and stuff to kind of supplement, but the money hasn't been rolling in on that yet. Probably because I'm too busy fucking trying to tell the truth as well, right? Try to be honest on social media and still be monetized. No, I got account strikes on every fucking social media platform that I use. YouTube, Twitter, right? Fucking Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So as everyone's trying to figure out how to find ways to make more money and survive and possibly thrive on and stuff like that, you don't think everyone around the world is fed up? You don't think people are just tired of it? Now, will they be as vocal? Of course not. But it's there. The sentiment is there. And as the United States government and the media tries to push the narrative of climate change, and that's why we have the earthquakes and the floodings and stuff, and that's why we have the wildfires in Hawaii and shit, and some in Spokane, Washington, and that's why we're about to have, it was a hot summer, now we're gonna have a cold winter, right? That's gonna be coming up soon. Cold winter, rolling blackouts, careful how you use your heater. I'm not turning on my fucking heater. I usually don't turn my heater on anyways. I'm in fucking Florida. I mean, if it gets down to 40 degrees, it's fucking freezing here, but hey, we're going to have to bundle up in this bitch. I don't know what to tell my kids. Hey, we're going to have to find some way to cut costs. Because your utility bill is going out the asshole, right? You have all these infrastructures, all these different resources that are abundant. I think we need to really emphasize that resources are abundant. Oil, fossil fuels is not, we're going to drain the reserves. No, we're not. No, we're not. So all these technologies, these patents, right? Tesla coil, creating free energy, not creating, but tapping into free energy, that energy already exists. Everything is energy, right? That the United States government knows about, yet we have to pay into all this shit. Money is not a real fucking thing. It's a concept in which that we use to, well, basically be a medium of exchange as far as trade and services instead of just doing a regular barter system. So, but at the same time, you're going to have that type of payment infrastructure. You cannot just have it be infinite. It has to be finite. It has to be taxed, or not taxed, but it has to be fixated to something that is feasible, such as the precious metals. So look for a basket of currencies, precious metals, and resources. Things that could be tied to something like that, and tokenization, which is some of the principles and advantages that the BRICS is talking about. I'll read it real quick as my fucking monitor keeps doing the shit it does. I should have stayed on my TV. I had my computer hooked up. But it talks about de-dollarization, interoperability. And as I say certain words, understand that they are key words that I've been talking about on this podcast. Anytime I talk about payment infrastructure, finances, and cryptocurrencies and blockchains. So yeah, interoperability. Ripple talks about that shit all the fucking time. Brad Garhouse says that shit all the time. Interoperability, inclusiveness, responsibility, efficiency, justice, equal rights for all parties involved in financial transactions so that no party receives an unfair advantage. What is that for? That's saying, oh, fuck these sanctions. Fuck these sanctions, man. You have transparency. I just said that earlier. Transparency, that was the whole accounting, the distributed ledger technology, so everyone can see, right? You can get on an XRP ledger as long as you know the address. You can see what transactions is being taken place. Now, obviously, you won't know exactly where it goes unless you know the addresses of where the transaction is going, but still, it's there. So you want to have certain government officials, certain political officials, if they're doing certain trades and stuff, well, now we can't look at them. See, people don't understand that it's a two-way mirror, right? Like, I can see, I don't want to say two-way mirror, but it's a see-through. It's a glass. Like, yeah, I can see reflection of myself, but I also can see their shit. People, and I don't think people will ever really think about it when we're talking about the central bank digital currency. Oh, they're going to look at our money and stuff like that. But we can see their shit. The thing is, people don't give a fuck to figure out how to see their shit or care about it, right? People don't care about those things. You can get on the XRP ledger and look up where transactions are going and stuff. And it's all noted on that's what the blockchain is for. Right? Each block is encrypted of data. It's encrypted data. That's what we're talking about here. And then what happens when we throw AI behind it? Whether it's AI just machine learning or AI some other sentient being trying to break through in this dimension. Either way, the shit is here now. So in America, we're not preparing our children for none of that shit. None of that shit. None of that shit. We want to block TikTok and social media and stuff. Meanwhile, hell, they can learn shit on fucking social media. There's that STEM tag, right? Which is what? Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, if I'm not mistaken. There's that STEM tab on TikTok. So the kids can just scroll over and learn shit. My daughter learns how to cook and does different hairstyling products and stuff like that on TikTok. Hell, my son is still learning how to teach himself basketball, or not teach himself, but learn more things about basketball, learn things. I'm like, hey, you're already on your fucking phone. How about you use that shit to learn something? Access to information is all right there on your fucking phone, in your goddamn hand, and people still refuse to get on there and look at anything. But you know what? That comes to conditioning, it comes to programming, but it comes to accountability of the individual not looking for information. Most people don't want to fucking know. They don't want to know. And that's the biggest problem that we have. Because why would you not want to know? Why would you not want to know? Mainly because it's hard. Oh, I don't want to think about this. Oh, well, you know, I just worked 9-10 hours and now I got to cook dinner. I don't want to look at this. I don't want to think anymore. But I'll sit on my phone and I'll watch videos on Instagram laughing and shit. Oh, look at this meme. Right? We all do it. I do it. Anytime my friends send me something about, something that's going on in the world, I've already seen it before. I'm years ahead of them. And it's not like me trying to be cocky or anything about it, but it's because I crave that information. I'm always trying to fucking stay ahead, because you can call me that conspiracy theorist, but what it is pattern recognition. I'm noticing the patterns going on. I'm understanding the universal laws. I'm understanding that the universal law of rhythm, things and the cycles. Like, hey, it swung this way, right? The dollar been around for over 100 years, if I'm not mistaken, as world reserve currency, or almost 100 years rather, because Bretton Woods Agreement is 1944, if I'm not mistaken. So, probably after World War I. Either way, it's not going to be the same way forever. Have you not noticed that they're getting prepared for a whole completely society? And it's a global society. We will have global identity. There will be people that are global citizens in the sense of they will probably have their ID on some type of blockchain and stuff, but they'll be able to go wherever they want to go and not have to worry about passports and things like that. And in all honesty, I'm not against it, right? I'm not against the technology. I'm not against those certain things. Am I against restricting a movement or restricting a movement and restricting people's rights and things like that? Of course I am. But I also realize a lot of you motherfuckers don't give a shit about rights or privileges. Actually, rights and privileges, that's all it is, privileges, because rights, ain't nobody can tell you what the fuck to do. You're going to do whatever you want to do anyways. So when the privileges or rights, whatever you want to call them, are restricted, it doesn't bother people. Probably because they don't know, they don't care, wherever the case is. But I know me personally, I see a lot of this stuff. I'm not really mad at it. But what I am a little concerned by it. I am a little concerned by it because depending on what country you're in and stuff like that, will kind of determine how that technology is used. And that's bullshit. But, you know, the topic for the overthrowing of government, I done said it plenty of times. I'm still creating, I'm going to create my own society, man. I feel confident in saying that now. I know it sounds crazy to some people, but I'm going to create my own civilization, my own society. Because this shit, I'm not trying to be a part of a species, and I don't want my lineage, and I don't want the rest of the human species to be a part of this shit. Like, there's gotta be a better way in which we all can live in harmony. And I don't mean harmony of, kumbaya, we all gonna hold fucking hands and we are the world. No, none of that type of shit. Balancing the positive and the negative. We're gonna have people that commit crimes. We're gonna have people that I want to say commit crimes. We're gonna have people that infringe on someone else's personal rights or trying to hurt them and things like that, or take some of their property. We're gonna have those things, but there's gotta be another way to kind of figure out all this shit. In fact, I know there's another way because there always is another way. So we have all this coming to a head tomorrow. And I'm going to do at least one more episode this week about the whole BRICS thing. But this is just kind of a forecastment of some things I just want to say before the wherever announcements come out tomorrow. But I will be paying attention the rest of the fucking week. And I also know I'm going to make money. I also know I'm going to make money, man, by owning XRP and whether it's XRP or you get in the H bar, which is the hash algorithm, the encryptions. And if you get into XLM, which is Stellar, Stellar Lumens Foundation is behind, or I want to say behind, like Ripple and stuff is not behind XRP. Like those things were already created, and then these companies were invented to utilize those assets. Right? That's how you circumvent the laws and stuff like that. I don't know why it's such a hard concept for people to wrap their head around, but people hear and see what they want to. But I highly suggest that you check out this BRICS-pay.com to see what's going on. I mean, all it talks is just the payments. It's just the payment infrastructure and how they're going to do that. That right there is significant enough. Then go and look into AI and whatever else they got going on. But y'all figure that shit out, man. Research, do your own thing. And for those that outside the country, particularly Brazil, India, that are going to end up listening to this podcast, hey, I appreciate y'all. Until next time.
Everybody's so funny.
History in the making.
Everybody's so funny.
Welcome home, Columbia. Beautiful, beautiful.
Talking shit, Dave.